inside for Albert. Albert will get the score. Fiddler, his farewell. He captain to a legend and probably rugby league immortality. That's not a try, that's a miracle.
G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast, our live reaction to Origin Game 2, brought to you by Neds. Jump into the Neds app and follow along with all of our bets for the rest of the season, the rest of the Origin series as well, with one more game to come. Jump on the Neds app there. If you followed us along last night, we triple staked Stephen Crichton at $2.95 tonight. That was a nice little collect there. Shout out to Neds for bringing you this live reaction tonight. And I'll tell you what, we're in the hurt locker. We are in the absolute hurt locker. A tough finish there. One of those ones that, you know, my notes towards the back end of the game looked like an absolute train wreck because I was just so excited watching New South Wales come back. But Queensland getting it done, 26 points to 24. Goal kicking again for us. Just such an issue. It's so frustrating when you lose a game that you score more tries in. 5 tries to 4 in favour of New South Wales. We kicked just 2 from 5 goals. One of those goals hitting the posts as well. So brutal stuff there. But tonight it is about Queensland. A well-deserved win. Shout out to you. We've been talking it up the last few weeks, and now, I said it on my review on Instagram about an hour ago. A wounded Queenslander, just like the boogeyman. They're just always hiding under the bed, waiting to jump out. And the ambush was on again tonight. I guess the first thing to get out of the way, the penalty count. Look, it was wild. In the first half, I think we were down 8 penalties to 0 as a New South Welshman. And look, guys, I'm sorry, and I know I'm going to be the unpopular opinion in New South Wales, but I'm seeing a lot of finger pointing at the ref and whatnot. Guys, we were ill-disciplined. We came into this game, go and check the tape on about even. You know, we said it here on the tape, the two. You knew what was going to happen here. You knew that there was going to be a bit of a square up. You knew things were going to favour Queensland to start this game. They're down 1-0. It's just the way that world sport tends to work realistically. I don't think it's an exclusive issue to rugby league, but we didn't do anything to help ourselves in that first half. And you can blame the referees, whatever. We've got to take care of our own backyard first. I say this to you guys all the time about, you know, NRL sides and whatnot. You got to apply the same logic when it comes to State of Origin. I've got to apply the same logic to my team. We were ill-disciplined in the first half. Was there a couple of hard calls here and there? Yeah, sure. But I'll tell you what wasn't a hard call. Zach Lomax, elbow to the head on Trent Leary. Just, that is ill-discipline 101. Jerome Luai, eye gouging. That is ill-discipline 101. We had another penalty later where Angus Crichton stripped the ball and there was blatantly 2 in the tackle. Queensland got it back, and then Reece Robson blatantly lied in the ruck because he knew we were beat on the short side and it would have been a try. Ill-discipline. Again, that's just 3 off the top of the dome where it was our fault. We were ill-disciplined in the first half, yeah? We squared it up and we worked it out in the second half and we showed what we could do, and people say, oh, ref, let us back into it, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, guys. We were ill-disciplined in the first half. That's what happens to sides. Sides that are ill-disciplined gets penalised heaps. I refuse to believe. I'm keen to watch it again, but I don't think that was as one-sided as as bias or whatever from referee as a lot of you are saying. I'm sorry. We were ill-disciplined. We were. Elbows to the head. Eye gouging. We didn't need to fucking do it. We did not need to do it. We've got the better side on paper. We've got the better team, in my opinion. We just needed to play smart, and I just don't think we did. Which is just so disappointing. So as far as the penalties go, you know what? Was there a little bit of favour to Queensland early? Yeah, quite possibly. But, I mean, we knew that going in. We knew that was how it was going to play out. We had to take care of our own backyard, and I'm sorry to say we didn't, and we have to be better than that. That is just the reality of it. Even the first set, we kick out on the full. We're very lucky that Munster kicked dead on the next play. That sort of got us a little bit out of trouble. We scored the first try for rebounded kick. We got a pretty good start, all things considered. I don't think there would be too many Origin sides that kick out on the full in the first set and still manage to score the first try. And then we just let it get away from us. We lost our head for a period of time there, in my opinion. And Queensland, they took full advantage of it and they made it count. And you know what? There was early sets there where, you know, we had multiple sets at their line and they managed to hold us out. I don't think you can put all that down to just the referee. I think that's very lazy. And I think it's just a shit take, to be honest with you. We need to be better. We're a better footy side than what we showed in the first half. We need to be smarter than that. We had to be smarter than that in that first half. I know a lot of you will disagree with that, and that's fine, but I am huge on if you think the referee decided the game for you, you didn't do enough to win it, and New South Wales did not do enough in the first half to compete in that game. They gave away silly penalty after silly penalty that just put us in trouble. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I know you guys in the comments, I've already seen you on social media. A lot of New South Welshmen disagree with me, but fuck it. I'm taking some accountability because we knew this was going to play out this way. We had to take care of our own backyard and make sure we were sweet. And in my opinion, we simply didn't. Queensland, though. Cameron Munster, I haven't seen, but I assume he was the player of the match in this one. He was enormous, Munster. Obviously scored a try. I think he ran for about 130 metres or so in this game. It was once or twice where he kicked early, just came up with big plays. I thought defensively he was very good as well, came up with a few plays there. I thought it was a real captain's knock by Cam Munster, and we spoke about it with Sowie this week. He is your perfect there is no tomorrow captain. His coach was absolutely under fire today. You know, I in my opinion, due to his own actions, but he was under fire, he was under pressure, and there was a moment in the pre-game where Cameron Munster was stretching, he had the bands out and whatnot, and Slater came and sat next to him, and Munster, and it was just a little thing, but it was just, you know, he took his earphone out, he put it straight into Billy's ear, and like, I think you could just tell, it just immediately relaxed Billy, and I think that's the effect that Cam Munster can have, that in this big moment, his first game as Origin captain, coach comes and sits next to him, who's under all the pressure in the fucking world right now. And Munster's reaction is take the earphone out, put it in his, have a little giggle. They're 25 minutes away from one of the biggest moments in both of their careers, if not the biggest moment in their careers. And yeah, I just saw that sort of just summed up what Cam Munster brings and the sort of character he is, that he just relaxes the squad, but he gives you confidence at the same time. So yeah, Cam Munster, I thought he was brilliant. He had a fantastic game. As you know, his first game as Origin captain, huge tick. He did all the things that we feared most as New South Wales fans that he would do, and the energy he brought. He was fantastic, Munster. So full credit to him. I assume he probably got player of the match. I haven't seen the update on that yet. I'm sort of live, jumping behind the camera immediately, but I would imagine he'd be right up there. If Cam Munster doesn't get man of the match, Harry Grant's probably the pick for me. I'd go Munster, then Grant, but geez, I thought Harry Grant was amazing in the first half, and I thought just little things, but just his passing off the deck in wet conditions, he just had Queensland on the front foot all night. A couple of hands he had in tries. He obviously set up the one for Cam Munster where he just ducked into a little bit of space, created a half opportunity, and just his ruck recognition, his leg speed. There was the try to, I think it was Kurt Capewell. He darted out and he just played direct, straightened everyone up, short ball to Did, and he went to Kurt Mann, then went to Capewell, I think it was. Just came off those one or two quick steps by Harry Grant. I thought he controlled the ruck really, really well. I thought he defended well. I assume he made 50-odd tackles in that game, probably more. He was just everywhere, Harry Grant. I thought he was fantastic. And, you know, we said the other day that, you know, this stat floating around that Queensland don't win when Harry Grant starts and they needed to make changes and whatnot. I sort of said during the week, I don't buy into that shit personally. He's the best hooker in the world. There's no doubting that whatsoever for me. He struggled in game one, 100%. We called him out in game one, but his response in game two was tremendous. And I think he just reminded everyone tonight why he is the best hooker in rugby league. The two Melbourne Storm boys, Cam Munster and Harry Grant, I thought they were both unreal. Another Melbourne Storm guy I thought was great, Trent Learoux. I assume he ran for 100-odd metres. I haven't looked at his stats yet, but I thought defensively he was very solid. I would imagine he would have made 35 or 40 tackles. We said during the week that we liked the idea of him starting, and then you bring Pat Carrigan off, and I know the game sort of went in a weird way. But I thought he was really good in his first stint, Trent Learoux. I thought he controlled him well around the ruck. I thought he defended, as I said, very, very well. I'm just going to get up his stats for this game and have a look. Trent Learoux ran for 84 metres, so nothing crazy, but none of the run meters are insane in this game. I think just in the wet because it was so stop-start and everything. I just think that was the reality of it. 41 tackles for Trent Learoux. He only missed the one, so shout out to him. Very good performance by him. His first run-on game for Queensland. He's going to have many, many more to come throughout his career. Kurt Capewell, I questioned the selection. I thought it was very harsh on Beau Fermor. Jeezy came up with some big plays in this one, Kurt Capewell. Obviously scored the try, but I thought defensively, some very, very big tackles in this one. Obviously, you know, he misses a lot of tackles in the NRL. I'd be shocked if he missed more than 2 or 3 in this game. Kurt Capewell, 37 tackles. He only missed the 2. Very good knock. And I think he was one of the few guys that ran for 100 metres. Yeah, 107 metres for Kurt Capewell. He was the only Queensland player outside of Cameron Munster to run for 100 metres. So credit to Billy, made a very good call there. I thought Kurt Capewell was really good tonight. Tom Dearden didn't do anything crazy in attack that's coming to mind. He obviously had the short ball to Kurt Mann that led to a try there. But I thought in defence, he's a tough little prick. And just some of the runs that he took, he's just begging for a beating sometimes. And he just didn't hide away from the game at all, Tom didn't. He played tough, kicked well when he needed to. Just ticked a lot of boxes for me tonight, didn't he? It was just he didn't have to blow the world away, didn't have to do anything crazy, but he just played tough. And I think that's what Queensland needed to do in this game. They just needed to be willing to get in the gutter, get in the trenches, and just hang in the contest. And I thought Tom did, and he did a really good job of that tonight. Showed a lot of resiliency throughout the game. Reuben Cotter, a lot of defensive work as well. Another one, I'd imagine he would have got close to 50-odd tackles in this game. Reuben Cotter, he made 43 tackles, so good knock there. I thought Tino was a little bit quiet in this one. Didn't quite have the impact that I thought he would. I think that shot from Liam Martin early rattled him. Off the back of that shot from Val on Liam Martin, that was sensational as well. Their right edge, they did struggle a little bit tonight. A few tries through that side. Rob Toya, as much as Latrell didn't have any of those huge moments, just every time he had an opportunity, he just iced it perfectly, just with nice hands there. That right edge for Queensland, they were in a little bit of trouble there. Obviously, a try for kick to Angus Crichton, but then Latrell and To'o got him a few times there. To'o obviously scoring 3 tries. We'll get to Queensland. We'll get to New South Wales soon. Thought Pat Carrigan, when he got on, he was solid. And Kurt Mann, I thought he had good impact when he came into the game. His leg speed, very handy there. So Queensland, look, it wasn't their greatest performance, and they did win the penalty count in the first half. I understand that. I get that. But, I mean, you got to play the cards that you're dealt. I thought they did it well. They weren't giving away the dumb penalties in the first half that New South Wales were. I think New South Wales kicked 2 balls out on the full. I don't think Queensland did that at all. They kicked a couple dead, to be fair. 2 off Munster's boot that weren't great. It's probably the 2 low points of Munster's game. He had one in the first half. His first kick went dead. He had another one a little bit later in the game as well that I think he just got completely wrong. But yeah, good win by Queensland, 26 points to 24. They will head down to Sydney for the next game. I wouldn't be expecting any changes to that side. Yeah, I don't think there's any changes that need to be made there. I'm trying to think if there's anyone that's out with injury or anyone that's available or anything. Murray Taulungi's available now. I don't see them bringing him back in. As far as the forward pack, I think they'll sort of run with what they've got there. I think that's a side that they can go to New South Wales, come to Sydney in a few weeks' time and feel confident that they can compete in that game. So, yeah, I'm not expecting any changes to that Queensland side. I think they'll run as named, assuming all those guys are available. We all speculated about what Billy Slater was going to do with his team before kickoff. He ran out 1-17, and I thought there would be changes, but at the same time, I did like what he did with Lear and Carrigan. I thought that worked well. Their edges held their own. Reuben Cotter was good in defence. So, yeah, credit to Billy. It's been a fucked up week. There's been a lot go on, especially in the last 48 hours, but his team stood up for him tonight. And if you can get a response out of your team like that, that's what you're looking for. But I will say this. I don't think that Queensland, they obviously wouldn't be happy with their performance in game 1. And I think that they'd be happy with they'd be happy with the result tonight. I don't know if Slater and the Queensland Blues would be stoked with their actual performance. I think that in the first half, the Blues, just a lot of dumb things they did that really let Queensland into it. I think there's a lot of improvement still for the Maroons, despite it being a good game and whatnot. I think it's fair to say they've got another level that they can go to. I think both sides do. So it's exciting going into game 3 that both sides have another level to go to. But I think Queensland, despite winning this one, I think they know there is more that they can do heading into that third game. So shout out to Queensland, a good win, well deserved. We'll see you in Sydney in a few weeks' time. New South Wales. I want to talk about Brian To'o first. The guy's an absolute animal. 3 tries in this one in a losing side. He ran for 232 run meters, 73 post contact, 2 line breaks, 4 tackle breaks. The bloke is an absolute monster. We've been talking about it for, I think it was about 3 years ago, we first said we think this guy will be the best winger of all time. I think it's a pretty fair argument that now he is. I'm not seeing many people pushing back on that anymore. When you have a look at all the meters run for this game, I would safely assume he's the only player to run for 200 run meters. I reckon the next closest, Payne Haas, ran for 143. And I don't think anyone from Queensland got anywhere near 200. I'll just have a look at it to double check that. Run meters, their most run meters was 131. So Brian To'o, he is an absolute animal. A huge game from him. He was incredible. If they gave him man of the match, I also wouldn't be shocked. 3 tries, ran for that many meters, got through that much work. It's very, very hard to push back on a performance like that from Brian To'o, so credit to him. I did think that Latrell was very good inside him as well. Didn't have those big break it open sort of moments, didn't run for huge meters, didn't have that moment where he sort of barnstorms over 3 or 4 people. But when he had his moments with Brian To'o, he just iced the opportunities and did what he needed to do. Came up with a crucial one-on-one strip that led to a try as well, so did some good things. Trell Mitt. Critter was the same. If you have a look at Trell and Critter, the one thing I will say, they both combined for 112 run meters. So not ideal there. You want more out of those guys. 2 Ferrari sitting in the centres, you want more out of them. But when it is a wet sort of game like that, when they had their opportunities in attack, obviously you saw Latrell Mitchell, he iced his, and Stephen Crichton, he got that one opportunity with Val Holmes, left him for dead and scored there. But I would have liked to have seen them get a little bit more ball and run for a few more meters there just in the modern game with your centres and whatnot. I thought that, as we said, the ill discipline, the eye gouge, the elbow, lying in the ruck in the first half, fuck it, blame the referees, but you do make your own bed to some extent. You have got to take some responsibility for your own backyard before you start pointing the finger at other backyards, in my opinion. That's how I see rugby league, each to their own though. I thought that Payne Haas, he had 2 errors in this game. One obviously key late there, arguments that it was knocked backwards. I think most weeks in the NRL, that's a knock on, unfortunately. I think he topped the run count outside of Brian To'o, 150 odd run meters. Had some really good runs in the first half. Just those 2 errors, the only concern. Look, I'm not going to be too harsh on this, but we've been saying for the entire series, I do not see what all these people see in Stefano. And in this game, without even looking at his stats, I just thought a lot of the time he was very pedestrian. There was 2 or 3 tries on both sides where he was sort of caught out of position. Just those little effort moments, and it's only, it'll only happen to you 1 every 100. But when you run your decoy, you go through. If you're just going to loiter and stand in the line, when Nath Cleary comes off that right foot and comes back through that hole, it's just those little effort moments that just change games. Had Nath scored that try, you look, it ended up being 26-24. It's a different game of football. This is what I say with guys like Britton Nikora all the time. He's a guy that runs this incredibly hard line, but the other thing that Nikora does is he never gets pinned for loitering around in there. He never gets pinned for obstruction because he gets there, he gets out, and he gets back for his next job. I just thought Stefano's ass was hanging out way too early. I don't see it. I don't think he had to play enormous minutes in this game, and I just thought he looked exhausted. He played 28 minutes. 5 runs, 41 meters, 13 post-contact. He only had the 1 missed tackle, but fuck, I thought he missed his mark on a few occasions, just being out of position. As I said, I think he was just gassed. So Stefano, he's one change I've made for the next game. If Keon's available, I'm picking him in a heartbeat. I would have picked Keon in the game before. I'm just not seeing it yet, and I see performances like that, and I go, well, what are you all seeing that I'm not seeing? I know Sowie's behind him. I know Craig Bellamy's behind him. And I always say to you guys on this podcast, I don't see it. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I just don't see it. Week to week for Melbourne, I don't see it. Games like that, big games where all he has to do is last for 25 minutes and show what he can do. I just don't see it with Stefano. Maybe he will develop into it. And as soon as he does, I'll put my hand up and go, fuck, shit the bet on that one. I was wrong. You guys are right. He's the real deal. But I just don't think he's ready for that yet. In 12 months' time, under Craig Bellamy in the Melbourne Storm system, maybe he'll turn it around. But me personally, I couldn't pick him in game 3. I have to go with Keon. A must-win game. I can't. I have to make a change there. I would have made the change before that. I would have had Keon straight in the side. But yeah, I just can't get around it. I don't know what more to say on that. I thought Hudson Young tried his dick out. He actually played a lot more minutes than what I expected. Hudson Young, he ended up playing 47 minutes through the middle, which I really didn't see coming. I just didn't expect his role to be that much personally. I thought he tried hard. He did come up with a few errors. I think he had a penalty or 2 there as well. But I thought he tried hard, Hudson. He ran for 111 metres as well. He does run the ball hard, Hudson. Does take him on. He had a few missed tackles, but some of those missed tackles, to be fair, I think was him just coming out of the line, trying to put real pressure on. But yeah, 1 penalty and 2 errors for Huddy. Just got to sort that stuff out. Liam Martin, I thought he started enormous. He was fantastic in the early parts, really went after him, went after Tino and whatnot, was running the ball like a maniac, had that look in his eye. But I thought by about the 60th minute, he was really, really tired. He was, I thought he sort of struggled toward the back end, Liam Martin. I would have considered getting him off the field and moving Hudson Young out there. But I think as well, Laurie Daly probably realised, okay, I don't know if Stefano's ready for this theatre. Max King only played 26 minutes. I don't know what that's about. When I look at that, I go, okay, I probably would have put Hudson Young out to that edge and I would have brought Max King back on through the middle. So I can't really get my head around that one. Stefano only had the one stint. Hudson Young had one stint. The other one that I just couldn't really make sense of was Connor Watson. We waited until the 60th minute to get him on. And I thought when he got on, he was sort of, I would have just given him another 5 or 10 minutes to ease into the game. I thought there was one set of 6 where Connor's decision-making was very poor, went down the short side twice. The left edge had the hot hand. We had Toyer and them on the ropes, and he went down the right edge twice and ended up going over the sideline. I thought that was poor by Watson, and that's where, either the halves, they've got to be calling it and you've got to be tuning into your halves. I thought that was a poor moment, and, we ended up scoring points and whatnot, but we just, in the chase room, we couldn't let opportunities slip. And I just thought that 40 seconds there from Connor Watson, I thought that was quite poor, but I would have got him on earlier. With about 25 to go, 30 to go, I think I would have put Connor Watson, especially once the momentum's just started to swing a little, I would have put him straight on. I'm really surprised that Max King didn't get it back on the field. Maybe there's an injury at HIA there that I'm not aware of. But yeah, with Liam Martin, he was really struggling. I would have moved Hudson Young out there and I would have got Max King back on there for some punch through the middle. The halves, Jerome Loy had a mixed night. I think he had 3 penalties. He had the eye gouge. He kicked out on the full early, but he did have a couple of nice touches for tries. Obviously, had a hand in all the tries, essentially. Put in the kick for the first try, which is a bit of a rebound, but in the wet, you got to sort of kick to keep the defence in 2 minds. So I liked that play, and I thought the kick for Angus Crichton was perfect as well. So a bit of a mixed bag for Jerome Luai, but I thought there was more good than bad, but there was some bad. There's no denying that. Nath Cleary, it's just... it's so frustrating for him to come into this game. I've heard that, he was obviously wearing the compression over his thigh and whatnot. I've heard that he had extra strapping on the foot. He didn't goal kick. And at the start, he wasn't doing long kicking. I was told by sources that the plan was for Latrell Mitchell to do the long kick and the Nath would only kick if he really had to. And he came up with a couple of nice plays in the second half to his credit. Absolutely botched one chip kick in the first half that you just sort of went, fuck, you're really not on here. You're not right. And that is really frustrating when you lose Mitch Moses and then Cleary's evidently not 100%. Super frustrating. So frustrating. Zach Lomax, he obviously took over the goal kicking. Went 2 from 5 tonight. Once again, I don't think it's fair to blame referees and goal kicking. I think there's a lot more that happens in between those things that you've got to take control of and get right that we didn't. But they were 2 really costly things throughout this game. Just the one that hit the sticks too. If that goes in, it's a different game of football all of a sudden. But Nath had some nice moments, and I thought he took control in certain moments, but as a whole, not his greatest game, but he was hampered. But I think it's a good lesson that if guys aren't 100%, maybe we do need to look elsewhere. But the hard thing was that we'd already lost Mitch Moses. I do wonder if Moses was available, if they would have made a different decision for Nath heading into this game, because if you're coming into a game as a halfback like Nath, and one of your strongest assets is your long kicking game, but you can't do that. Once again, they found themselves in a tough position whilst Mitch Moses was ruled out. Nath is going to need a big performance to back up in Game 3. Did really well in Game 1, I thought. I think people were a little bit overcritical of him in Game 1. And this game just sort of got away from them. They got very close. But in Sydney, look, the reality is they got the better team on paper. They got the better outside backs, in my opinion. They're playing at home in Sydney. This is his side. He'll have the right guys around him that he needs. This is a must-game. This is a must-win game for Nathan Cleary, as it would be a must-win game for Joey, Freddie, any of the halves that have gone before us. You've got the better team on paper. You've played, somewhat well in the first game. You didn't blow it away as a team. You did well. And if it wasn't, if you would have goal kicked better, you would have won 13 plus. So you won, but it still wasn't your absolute best footy. This game, you didn't play anywhere near your best footy. You only lost by 2 points. Coming home to Sydney, Nath Cleary and Isaiah Yeo as the captains of this side, I think that they have no choice. It is win. They have to win this game of football. It puts pressure on them immediately, but that's what Origin football is about. It's all about pressure. We have to win this game 3. You can say the same about Queensland, I get it, but because it's in our backyard, the way this series has played out, the team we've got on paper, we just have to win this game of football. It is what it is. So I'm keen to see how Nath Cleary responds to that. And yeah, we'll see how the Blues go in game 3. But yeah, Brian Tyre, he was tremendous. I thought Cam Munster and Harry Grant for Queensland, they were both fantastic. The referee talk will dominate the next few days. As I said, guys, and I'll just leave you with this as the last thing I say, I'm a huge believer in rugby league. If you're blaming referees, you haven't done enough to win the game yourself. And I don't believe the Blues did enough in the first half. I don't think they did enough things smart enough to be able to compete. If you're in Origin and you're kicking out in the full in the first set, you're elbowing guys in the head, you're eye gouging, you're doing this dumb kind of stuff, hot tip, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you in the NRL, and I'll fucking promise you this, it's going to cost you in the Origin arena. We were ill-disciplined. We had to be smarter. We knew how the whistle was going to go in this game. That's no shock. If Queensland would have won the first game, it probably would have gone our way a little bit as well. That's just the way it goes. That's sport. Let me introduce you to it. The reality is we had to take care of what we could take care of, and we didn't do that in the first half, in my opinion. Guys, we'll be heading up tomorrow to the CBA Bowl. I'll be on a flight tomorrow morning, probably when you guys are listening to this one. So I'll be up there for New South Wales versus Queensland under-19s on the Sunshine Coast. So make sure you tune in on TV. If you're up there, come and say hi. Come to the game. We've got a 2-for-1 ticket offer. The link is in the description if you would like to take that up. Roo Crew members, you're getting free passes to the game in the Roo Crew, obviously, as always. Guys, thanks for joining us once again for our live reaction to Game 2. The Queensland Maroons getting it done. The series is 1 apiece. We're now heading to Sydney for the decider in a few weeks' time, and that one's going to be an absolute cracker. Tonight's podcast, this morning's podcast, whenever you're listening to this, brought to you by Neds. Guys, jump onto the Neds app and follow along with all of our bets for the rest of the NRL season and for the rest of this Origin series.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website